Hello and welcome to the Semex podcast. My name is Clarissa McCallum, our photographer and content creator here at Semex, and I'm joined as always by Brenda Lee, our communications specialist. Hi, Brenda.
Hi, Clarissa. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm great.
And we, as always, again, have Jonathan Merriam, our Jersey Program Manager, on with us to talk about all things Jersey. Hi, Jonathan.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. Always
Mhm.
enjoy talking jerseys.
It's always a pleasure.
So do we. See, just before we get started, Jonathan, I want to pick your brain a little bit about protein and the history of protein. I mean, there's such a focus on protein, and for dairy, that's whey protein being added to a lot of foods. There's consumers that are demanding it due to GLP-1 usage and, just a desire to eat more protein and be a bit healthier because protein helps maintain that muscle. So can you give us just a little bit of a history? Because I always thought that Jersey breed, they were the protein breed. So where's it gone? Where's it going? That sort of thing.
So yes, jerseys have kind of been known as the protein breed. As a percentage, they tend to be the highest percent protein in their milk. The challenge with protein is there's not as much variation with protein as there is with butterfat. So as we look at genetics of butterfat, we can make progress much quicker. Protein takes a little longer to do, but because it's been a priority trait within jerseys, they've continued to make that progress. It tends to go with volume. Holsteins do have a larger volume product, so they have recently been making more progress with protein just because that's now become their emphasis. But Jersey does still kind of lead the way with percent protein in their milk. And yes, with protein in the public market being so much higher priority, realizing the benefits of protein, it should benefit the Jersey breed even more. And we're seeing that with some adjustments with some of the formulas. The U.S. right now didn't make any adjustments for their genomic evaluations in April. But in Canada, the LPI formula did have some adjustments because of the protein emphasis, and also uh, butterfat is not as highly valued in the Canadian market as it has been, and so we saw some changes to the LPI formula. And with jerseys, the butterfat to protein ratio in the old formula was about 50-50. And now, as of April, it's 33% butterfat, 67% protein.
That's a big shift.
Yes, it is a big shift. We didn't see huge changes in LPI results, a few ups and downs for rankings, but kind of an overall where we would see the change is a high volume bull, again, is most likely going to have more protein. So they tended to go up on the LPI list. But a lower volume bull that was lower on protein but still had high butterfat, they tended to go down because the butterfat is no longer benefiting them as much as it was.
Right.
And so that's where the big changes is that overall protein that tends to go with volume did move up the list a bit.
And just when we're talking about any, changes to a formula, it's impacting all bulls, all studs equally,
Yes.
so everyone was impacted the same, just so that everyone understands that and then in coordination with the base change in April with LPI.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Right.
everybody was impacted the same, just based on the genomics of the bull. Where you might see some benefits or not so much benefit is if you've got a bull that was used very heavily and he went up or down, obviously that's going to impact his sons, daughters, and grandsons. And so certain bloodlines benefited or got discredited because of the higher protein or higher butterfat, depending on what they were. But across the board, it was just the same formula change. And so it just kind of depends more on the bloodlines.
Okay, cool. And which bloodlines were most impacted, did you think? Not to probe too deeply here, but winners and losers.
So winners and losers. So Vivaldi is a bull that's been at the top of the list for several years. But he is an extreme butterfat bull, but a negative volume bull, positive protein, but not by much. And so he and his genetics tended to drop a bit. Uh, Bulls like Chief, who are high volume, high protein, his bloodlines would tend to go up just a little. And so I guess those bulls that we've talked about in the past, those would be two that are familiar and kind of how they would benefit. And to be famous just happens to be a combination of those two bloodlines. And so he was impacted slightly going down because he's got the higher butterfat from his Vivaldi dam, but he's got not as extreme volume from Chief, but he does have some volume in milk and protein. So he dropped a little because of extreme butterfat, but not too much because he's a fairly balanced bull.
Yeah, and another key difference between those two would be also, Jonathan, one is dead and long
Oh,
gone,
yes,
and
that's
one is readily available.
yes,
Fortunately,
yeah,
it's Chief that is
right.
available.
And
Vivaldi was used extensively,
Yes,
through
yeah,
maternal lines and mating
yeah,
sires, but Chief is really available worldwide, isn't he?
yes, he is,
Yeah.
and making a global impact. And To Be Famous is starting to do that now too. And
Good.
that's a good point because I remember mentioning Vivaldi, but semen was very limited. But now
Mhm.
To Be Famous, he's still alive, producing well, and so there's lots of semen available for him. So that's exciting to have a bull at the top and readily available semen.
That's a great segment into LPI and all of what we have to talk about there. So I'd love to hear your thoughts, Jonathan, on how the day went on the LPI side of things.
Okay, happy to. Already kind of mentioned the highlight with To Be Famous. He maintained his number one LPI spot. He's number 10 for pro dollars, and he's tied for number 4 on confirmation. And that's something that you don't often find a bull that ranks so high on the production, I guess, side of the formulas, as well as the type side of the formulas. You usually have some balanced ones that may rank really high and fair on the other, but to basically be in the top 5 of both charts is very unusual. And To Be Famous is a bull that does that. The daughters are milking well. He's good on his health traits, his udder health traits as well, and just overall confirmation. You're seeing some of his daughters in the show ring and they're winning blue ribbons. And you also, as you talk to breeders and go into the milk barn, some of the first daughters they want to show you are the To Be Famous daughters. They're just very excited about them, milking the young cows. Most of them have already started to buy more semen. Many of them were buying more semen before he really moved up on the charts because they were so happy with his daughters. So he's just a real exciting bull that's having an impact globally. The biggest impact initially will be Canada, but he's been used across the globe and continues to be. And so, just a very exciting bull. We're going to see some of his sons come up the charts, and now his grandsons are starting to hit. So, just a very exciting uh, bull to be talking about. And I remember talking about Chief and the global impact he was going to make. And I think I, in a way, more referred to that through the US genetics. And yet,
Okay.
here's a son in Canada that is probably going to be one of Chief's most popular sons. And he's doing it more on the Canadian type program than the US program. So it just shows against balance breeding and making the right matings and using those good bulls no matter what uh, evaluation they're being looked at. When you use the right ones, that next generation is really going to make an impact. And we're seeing that with To Be Famous. Semex did really well. With LPI, we've got 4 of the top 10 among proven bulls and 5 of the top 10 among confirmation bulls with daughter proof. And then when we look at the genomics, we did quite well there. We've got 8 of the top 10 for genomic LPI and pro dollars. A few that I wanted to highlight are some newer bulls, some that have been around for a little while, but one is Unique Anarchy. He's a cinnamon out of a Mesex, and so it's a very different pedigree. But he's one that not only is a double digit for confirmation, but he's one of these high volume, high protein bulls. He's lower on butterfat, but he's got that high volume. And so this new formula helped him move up the chart. He's a top 10. Lencrest Skyblast is a bull that has been available for a while now. He's got calves on the ground. He's a Skyfall out of a Channing that goes back to the Lencrest Cocoa Puff cow. So I've talked about the importance of maternal lines in the past. And here's one it's another generation of away from Cocoa Puff, but still going to have a tremendous influence. He's in the top 10, semen readily available. And as I mentioned, the sire and maternal grandsire, they're not Semex bulls. So we're able to access some of those, what you can consider outcross, at least to our bloodlines, to benefit our lineup. And then another one, new release is Unique Hitman. He's a ghost out of the Matador Heaven cow at Unique, which I think over the next year or two, you're going to hear me talk about her quite a bit because she's got 2 sons in the top 10 for genomic LPI, and she's got a few more sons already in the pipeline. They're not at CMEX yet, but we've already are talking about them. She's don't know if she'll be at the level of Cocoa Puff, but she's working her way that direction. Just a tremendous cow based on her offspring so far. So a lot of strength there in our genomic LPI. And I mentioned confirmation earlier. We actually have 9 of the top 11 genomic confirmation bulls in the Jersey breed. Number 1 at plus 25 is Pacific Edge Debonair from Pacific Edge in Tillamook, Oregon. And so we've got a high genomic confirmation bull that actually comes from the U.S., but it's a pedigree that people globally will know. He's actually a contractor, which is a bull we had that had limited semen but extreme confirmation. But this bull goes back to Veronica. And so just once again, she's showing the influence that she's going to have on the Jersey breed. And then another bull that I just wanted to highlight for confirmation, a bull that has really been quite the talk lately, and that's Dulé Mr. Brown. He's at plus 19 confirmation. He's got calves hitting the ground, and we've got breeders already asking for more semen. And so that's always a good sign, particularly on a type bull. When you get requests after they see the daughters, that means that bull's going to make an influence. So just a tremendous day for LPI and confirmation. And one last thing with the LPI is I've talked about diversity in the past. It's something that we strive to have in our lineup just in case we do have some changes in genomics. And I mentioned we have 8 of the top 10 GLPI bulls in the breed. Those are represented by 7 different sires and 6 different maternal grandsires. So we've got that diversity in there, and that's what we need to continue, not only to kind of protect us if there are changes, but to allow breeders to have outcross to whatever bloodlines they have. And so just an exciting day for our Canadian genomics that we had last week.
Absolutely, it was. And I mean, I think, yeah, it's a great testament to the diversity in the program. And when we have these changes, like in the LPI formula, that we can still bring in a great lineup of bulls on the LPI side of things. On the JPI side, I do want to switch gears over to JPI and let you kind of talk about some of those bulls that they also had great days.
Yes. Yeah, we had a good day in the U.S. genomics as well. I'll start with our proven bulls. I talked about Monarch last time, a newly proven bull that really went up in the ranks. He did drop some in JPI, but as I was able to analyze all of the US information as it came through over the week, I realized that a lot of the high-end proven bulls did drop in JPI. Not sure yet what all went into that and why that happened. When I first looked at him, I'd just a little concerned when you see bulls drop a little, especially a bull that's in your program quite a bit. But when I saw the rankings, he didn't lose much in rankings, and so that was real positive. So Monarch, or overall among proven bulls, we had 2 in the top 15 for JPI and 4 in the top 25, as well as an important part, we had 10 of the top 25 CFP daughter-proven bulls in the U.S. And that's that production aspect that we've always made a priority for our program. So we're very happy with that. Monarch is actually number 6 among daughter-proven bulls for JPI and cheese merit. He's a bull that's going to have a global impact. He may have sold more semen outside the U.S. than inside the U.S. over his lifetime so far, and so he's just going to have a tremendous impact. But a couple things I want to highlight with him. Some people are aware that April and October are the months that they appraise cows in California, which is the heaviest concentration of Jerseys in the United States. And they'll appraise more than 10,000 cows in those 2 months. And so obviously, if you've got daughters of certain bulls, you're really going to add to the data and reliability of their type information. And so this is April. It started this month. I was actually able to go with the appraisers to Alum Farms, a herd that I've mentioned before that I continue to work with. And on Saturday, they actually looked at over 2,500 cows in one day, 6 different appraisers. So obviously an opportunity to see a lot of daughters of different bulls. Monarch is a bull that I was interested in. I watched for his daughters, and they were fairly consistent. High, wide rear udders, good teat placement, good teat size, which is becoming more important, particularly with robots. Strong forudders, a little taller than average, but not too tall, and plenty of strength for the amount of milk that they're giving. I was just real excited to see that. And if you look at his type breakdown in the U.S., he's actually the number 2 JPI bull that has rear udder attachments, both scored both height and width of +1 or higher. So just a tremendous rear udder bull. That kind of goes back to his grandsire, which is Chief. Again, using those right genetics. And so that was just real exciting for me to see a number of his daughters to gain more confidence in what he's going to do. And I was so excited to see that. Uh, he's actually got a couple grandsons that will be in the program. Both are in the top 50 of the breed. And so that's exciting. And then the other daughter-proven bull that I wanted to mention is Michigan. I mentioned him in December. He was newly, just had 10 daughters then. He's got over 100 daughters now. Dropped just a little as you add some information, but still tremendous in production. He's actually among daughter-proven bulls. He's number 2 for fat and number 2 for CFP. So those production traits that I talked about earlier, he's one that in Canada, he would have been hit a little more because he is higher in fat than protein, but he's still positive components for protein. He's still going to improve protein quite a bit and so do quite well. And he's one that we're going to see an impact probably more through his grandsons than his sons. There's 3 daughters that we've used extensively in our IVF program, and 2 of them are going to have a huge impact. The third one will, but just not as much. But daughter by the name of Whirlwind right now has 6 sons marked to come into our program. Their GJPI ranges from 177 to 199, and cheese merit of 476 up to 606 cheese merit. So very exciting for those. And Priscilla is another daughter who also has 6 sons marked for the program, ranging from 164 to 185 JPI and 471 to 572 cheese merit. Now, they may not all make it to release, but for one donor to have that many sons, and actually both of those donors have just calved within the last 2 months with their first calf. So first lactation, they've already got 6 bull calves, not to mention their heifers that are doing well as also marked for our program. So they're just going to have a tremendous influence. They'll actually be scored next week. So that'll be exciting to see how they do. Both of them look really good. So excited to see that. So very happy and excited about our proven bulls. And then that just takes us to the next generation. What are our genomic bulls looking like? and excitement there as well. Two bulls that I talked about in December stayed right in there overall among genomic bulls. We've got 2 of the top 10 for JPI, 5 of the top 20, and 9 of the top 50. And what's nice is the 2 that we have in the top 10 both have semen readily available, both conventional and sorted. So that's always nice to say, because sometimes we get high ranking bulls and they're not quite old enough or right at the right stage, but both of these are. The first one is Prophet. He's a bear down out of a Hendrix. So two bulls that actually came from our IVF programs. He actually ranks number 6 among the Jersey breed for GJPI at 187. And his dam is Perdita, a donor that I've talked about before. She has 6 sons in the program, as well as at least 5 grandsons coming from three different daughters. And so she is still in our IVF program, so she'll continue to have an influence. But Prophet is being used heavily as a sire of sons, and is producing well, and is just strong across the board production, as well as his type and health traits. Right about 40 pounds of protein. So that protein area that we're looking at, he's going to really benefit that area. Man o' War is our second highest, ranked number 10 at 183. He's a Ting out of a Latitude, so 2 Semex sires that have been used heavily. He's one that, again, is solid across the board, no real holes in him, real good health traits and fertility traits, good udders, and solid production. He's not an extreme volume bull, but he's going to improve production. And so these are 2 bulls that we have used heavily. Man o' War actually has calves on the ground. We've already earmarked a couple of his sons to come into the program. So exciting to see that next generation already coming through. And continue that. These 2 are obviously have some diversity in their pedigrees, and that's what we're looking for. One other bull I wanted to mention, who I have in the past, is Excalibur P. He's our high polled bull, and is a high protein bull as well. He's a Michigan, the proven bull I just talked about, out of a Stony, and he's actually the number 1 polled bull for CFP at 102. So a tremendous production bull among the polled genetics, and he's got calves just now hitting the ground. So we're excited to see what comes from him. So just a tremendous day in the U.S. as well. Want to continue to, as I have in the past, emphasize the importance of using the right bulls, but also the right donors. I've talked about Madison in the past. That's Monarch's dam. Perdita, that's Prophet's dam. And now I just mentioned a couple Michigan daughters that are probably going to be talked about in the future as donors that have made a huge impact through their sons and daughters. And diversity is also important. I've mentioned that previously with the LPI, also wanted to with the JPI. Of our top 10 JPI bulls, they're represented by 7 different sires and 6 different maternal grandsires. So continuing that diversity in our program for a variety of reasons, but also I think it really shows the importance of making those matings so that we can have a variety of genetics right at the top. And it's not all out of one elite bull, but we're able to use a variety of bulls on a variety of donors to continue to improve our program, which improves the genetics available for the Jersey breed.
Yeah, some really impressive results. I'm just going to run down through a list that you sent me earlier in the week. For JPI, 2 in the top 10, 5 of the 25, and 9 of the top 50. Cheese merit bulls, 2 of the top 10. Combined fat and protein, 3 of the top 5, 12 of the top 25. And you didn't mention this, but I'm going to bring it up. Active protein bulls, 10 of the top 20. So if people are looking for protein bulls, we have them. We're ready to go. So yeah, congratulations. I know it's not just you, but really, really tremendous results this April. Which begs the question, what's going to happen besides a whole lot of daughters being added? in the coming months for the August proofs? What are you looking for?
Just continuing to, there's a big group that are going to be adding. They've started to add daughters, just weren't enough for April. There's a big group that were kind of exciting when they were released. And so I'm hoping to see some more that we've got daughters on and that are still around. That's a challenge now, is keeping bulls around until they have daughters milking for a variety of reasons. Can be semen production, obviously room in the barns and such. And so trying to guess as to which ones will be the right ones to keep, we don't always know. But one I mentioned, that Cinnamon, uh, is a sire of a bull that's in the top 10 for LPI. He's actually a bull that ranks well in the U.S. for bulls his age. So he's going to have daughters milking in the U.S. and Canada, and has a good chance of having a proof in August. So he's, I guess, to think of one right off, he's probably one that we'll be watching. There's a few others. Again, as I start to see daughters milking, I'll have more to talk about, but hopefully we'll have at least one new one, daughter proven, to talk about, as well as new genomics. We've got some exciting young bulls in the pipeline, again, diverse pedigrees. So should be another exciting run in August.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. That was great.
Yeah, thank you, Jonathan. We will look forward to seeing you again in August.
Thank you very much.
Or maybe sooner. If you see a whole bunch of daughters and you want to talk about them,
Let us know.
fire it up.
Let's do it.
I think people want to hear from you. So the more we see of you, the better.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good.
Okay. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.